The entire roller coaster that is the NBA season leads up to one moment, the NBA Finals. That moment has come as the 2024 NBA Finals are set to kick off between the Dallas Mavericks and Boston Celtics. The other 28 teams are left on the outside looking in. Only one of either the Celtics or Mavericks will be the last team standing, possessing the ability to lift the trophy and banner at the end of the postseason. Although the series is expected to be even for the most part, Boston is the favorite to win the title. The Boston Celtics were one of the top teams in our NBA power rankings throughout last season, and that has again been the case in 2023-24. They're not only one of the best offensive teams in the game, but also have an elite defense. There is no team more complete than Boston, and they are by far the favorites to bring a title back to Beantown later this year. Here is why the Celtics will finish their mission and win the 2024 NBA Finals. Let's recall how the Celtics got to the final by acing most of the tests they faced and passing the others. Team president Brad Stevens augmented Boston's existing core All-NBA wings, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Al Horford with reinforcements, swinging offseason trades for Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday. The result was the NBA's best top six, a unit that opened the season 11-2 and never looked back. It goes without saying that the journey to the NBA Finals is not easy for any team, but the 2023-24 Celtics sure made it look so. They cruised to a record of 64-18, a mark that was 7 games higher than any other team in the NBA and 14 games higher than the next Eastern team, the New York Knicks, who finished 50-32. Boston lapped the rest of the East, becoming just the 26th team in NBA history to win 64 or more games. The Celtics finished the season with the NBA's #1 offense and #3 defense, outscoring opponents by 11.3 points per 100 possessions, currently 5th all time. They trail only the 2017 Warriors, 1996 Bulls, 1971 Bucks, and 1972 Lakers, all of which captured the NBA title during those respective seasons. However, to appropriately contextualize Boston's performance this season, it's best to look at their scoring margin in relation to the rest of the league. Adjusting for pace, net rating simply refers to a team's point differential per 100 possessions on the floor. With that in mind, Boston is holding the 4th largest gap in net rating in NBA history. Combing through the last 74 years of data, going back to 1950 when the league only had a handful of teams, to find the most dominant squads that separated themselves from the pack. Among the top 7 teams in net rating difference, all 7 won the NBA championship. The Celtics are right in that mix. In a league where 3-point volume is coveted, the Celtics aren't just winning the math equation, they are dominating the class and essentially tutoring everyone else. There's a reason why these Celtics are much closer to Golden State than any of those isolation-heavy Houston teams. They are pairing insane volume with top-tier efficiency. Only 6 teams in history have attempted at least 33s per game and converted at least 39% of them. Increase that to 35 attempts and it's only 2 teams. Make it 40 attempts per game at the same percentage and it's only one, the 2024 Celtics. Their impressive record that stood out above all allowed the Celtics to lock down the #1 seed in the entire NBA playoffs, securing home court for every series. They were the first team to lock down a playoff spot and were able to sit back and wait for their first opponent to emerge. Winning the top seed earned the Celtics a favorable path through the postseason, though nobody could have known just how favorable injuries would make it. No Jimmy Butler or Terry Rozier for the Heat in round 1, no Jarrett Allen, and only 3 games of Donovan Mitchell for the Cavaliers in round 2. Only 2 games of Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers in the conference finals. Boston seized that opportunity, dropping just 2 games in 3 series despite losing Porzingis to a calf strain in Game 4 against Miami, even if the performances in those wins weren't always as dominant as some would have liked. In the conference semifinals, the Celtics took the same approach towards the Cleveland Cavaliers as they did the Heat, set back threes. The Cavaliers were also not blessed by luck in the series as they lacked their best defender, Jarrett Allen, for the entire series, and their lead scorer and superstar Donovan Mitchell missed the final 2 games with a calf injury. Boston took advantage of Cleveland's woes as they did with the Heat and defeated them in 5 to punch their ticket to the conference finals. They then did the exact same for the Indiana Pacers, whom they faced in the conference finals as they lacked Tyrese Halliburton for the final 2 games of the series. Despite most of the games in that series being close, the series was overall much more lopsided. it. Boston ended the Pacers season in a sweep, taking all 4 games, including both at home and on the road, to advance to their second NBA Finals in 3 seasons. Overall, the Boston Celtics continued to break records throughout the season 3. Some of their notable achievements include most points in Celtics history, most threes in a season in Celtics history, second in NBA behind Warriors, most home wins to start a season in team history, most wins in a row this season tied with the Rockets, most 50-point wins in a season in NBA history, highest offensive rating of the play-by-play era since 1997 to 98, highest net rating since 2000. The friendly road through the weaker conference has led to some skepticism over just how battle-tested these Celtics are. 4 more wins against these hard-charging Dallas Mavericks though, and Tatum and company will hold an awfully impressive golden argument ender. Now, on the road to the championship, the Celtics are facing a relatively unfamiliar opponent in the Mavericks. They only faced each other twice in the regular season, in which Boston won both games. The first game was played in Dallas on January 22nd, and the Celtics won that game by a score of 119-110. The second game was played in Boston on March 1st, and the Celtics blew the Mavericks out by a score of 138-110. That, however, was a while back, before the Mavericks hit their stride. They, of course, were always a contender, but they have elevated their game to another level in these playoffs. But head-to-head records should not be merely overlooked, and the Celtics were clearly the better team in the small sample size. All the Celtics have done so far, from the beginning of the season to the present moment, is win. That is thanks to both the solid nature of their roster and the fact that they have not had to deal with the injury bug aside from Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis, however, will most likely be returning for this series, giving Boston a huge advantage over a Mavericks team where advantages are sorely needed. He was sidelined for most of the playoffs due to a calf injury, but if he returns to his previous form, the Celtics will be able to spread the Mavericks out. The Mavericks possess a deadly 1-2 in Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving that many teams simply cannot counter, but one team that can counter them is the Boston Celtics. The Celtics possess a 1-2 punch of their own in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who are averaging the same amount of points combined to Dallas's duo in these playoffs. 51.8 points versus 51 points. The Boston Celtics hold advantages in their starting lineup and all-around star power primarily due to their defensive prowess and balanced scoring. Drew Holiday and Derek White provide elite perimeter defense and playmaking, which can disrupt the Mavericks offense led by Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Holiday, in particular, is known for his ability to defend multiple positions and his experience in big game situations. Derek White adds another defensive-minded guard who can also contribute offensively with his scoring ability. On the offensive end, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum provide versatile scoring options. They can score from anywhere on the floor, whether it's driving to the rim, hitting mid-range jumpers, or knocking down three-pointers. This versatility forces defenses to stretch and opens up opportunities for their teammates. Kristaps Porzingis, if healthy and playing at his best, adds a dimension of floor spacing with his ability to shoot from outside and protect the rim on defense. What makes the Celtics even more impressive is that Tatum or Brown can have bad games and the team can still win games. The key to the Celtics winning the title will be their ability to continue what they have been doing all season and playoffs. The case can be made that the Celtics' path to the finals has been easy thanks to the injured teams they had to face, but it can also be argued that the Celtics made those series look easy thanks to their sheer skill. But what is undeniable is that the Mavericks will be the Celtics' toughest test yet. There is no stopping the Mavericks, only slowing them down. But if any team is equipped to do that, it can and will be the Celtics. They have been the championship favorites all season, and losing now would be nothing short of a failure. Now let the game begin.
Like and subscribe if you like this video.